Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is That Seal. What is it? And pretty much this is based off of the lesson that I did earlier. Based off of a video that Elder Apostle Tahar did. He threw out a title and I did a lesson to it, and Elder Apostle Gabar right now, he's about an hour, maybe an hour some change into his. I just wanted to do a quick little something on the word seal, just based off of a scripture that the Elder Ariala had put up on the comment section of the live video earlier, and pretty much I just wanted to hit and touch on that right quick. And I looked up the word seal. You have many different seals. You have a seal of an imprint. Like you have a signet. You would put wax, and then the king would stamp it with his ring, so on and so forth. You have seals as far as animals are concerned. You have Navy seals, and then you have the seal of the Most High. So when we look up this word seal right here, it says a device or substance that is used to join two things together so as to prevent them from coming apart or to prevent anything from passing between them. Which this is kind of heavy because this is like the seal of the Most High. It's like a force field, an invisible force field, an invisible seal, an invisible shield that's set up, and it blocks between harm and the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai's elect. Because it says when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them. And that standard is some type of supernatural event, some type of supernatural intervention, that is going to separate the elect from the rest of the world in the protection. That's why it says, and then shall be known who are my chosen. Another name for seal, or another word for seal, or synonym for seal, is chosen, elect. All right. When we scroll down here, it says, apply a non-porous, which one was it? Fasten or close securely. See? Fasten or close securely. In other words, it's closed in and it's secure. Nothing can harm it. And that's what the Lord is doing with his MARK, which is the name of Yahweh, the name of Yahushai through the Holy Spirit, and the true understanding of this doctrine. Remember, this word of this doctrine is what's going to deliver us. Let's go real quick to the book of James. All right, James chapter 1 and verse 21. It says, wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. So this word is what's able to save our souls. This is the seal of the Most High. When we go to 2 Timothy, which is different than the seal of Esau. See, these individuals give Esau too much credit. The seal of the Most High is spiritual. Esau is a carnal man. He is not a spiritual man. So he's not going to give you something spiritual. He's going to give you something physical. 2 Timothy 2:19. Nevertheless, the foundation of the Most High standeth sure, having this seal. The Lord knoweth them that are his, which are the elect. Not all Israel are Israel. The Israel of the Most High. And let everyone that nameth the name of Yahushai depart from iniquity. All right. So the word seal there, when we look it up, which is the same word or a root of the word seal in the book of Revelation, the 7th chapter, which you have the word sfragitz, right? The other one was sfragitzo, which is a seal. The seal placed upon books, a signet, ring, the inscription or impression made by a seal, of the name of the Most High and Yahushua stamped upon their foreheads, which this right here goes hand in hand with Revelation chapter 14 and 1. But we have to go to a different translation in order to get the proper understanding. When you go to the Greek, when you go to the Hebrew, it speaks about the Lord Yahushua's name and the Heavenly Father's name. That's why in Proverbs, the 30th chapter says, what is his name and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? Then it says in Proverbs 18 and 10, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous runneth into it and is safe. Revelation 14 and 1, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion. It's Yahushua, the Mount Zion of the Israelites. Specifically, the mountain represents the 144,000, which is the government body of the nation of Israel. And with him 144,000, which were actual Israelites. All right? Not like that clown vocab talking about, well, when you read Revelation 7, that ain't really the Israelites because it has the tribe of Joseph. Man, shut the hell up. It says, having his father's name written in their foreheads. Now, when we look at it in the NIV, it says, who had his name and his father's name written in their foreheads. We look on the NLT, then it says, then I saw the Lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him were 144,000 who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. You can find it in the Hebrew, you can find it in the Greek, you can find it in the Latin, you can find it in the Spanish, and other translations, and even different English translations. All right? So, back to the word sfragits, which is a root word of sfragizo. It says, of the name of the Most High and Yahushua stamped upon their foreheads, and by which anything is confirmed, that by which anything is confirmed, proved, authenticated as by a seal, a token or proof. All right. And the Apostle Paul said that you are my seal of approval, something like that. In the book of, I believe that's 2 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, where it speaks about, that you are, our proof, written not with man's hands, but with the Spirit, with the Spirit, pretty much. All right. So when we go to the root word of sfragits, it's the word sfrazo, or frazo, right? It says to fence in, block up, stock up, stop up, close up, right? So basically what's that? That means to hedge in, have that invisible force field around. Then shall be known who are my chosen. They will be protected. There will nothing harm them. This is why in the book of Psalms 124, and 8, our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth, right? So the beginning of the seal, or the beginning of that invisible force field protection, begins with the names of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rchakodash, and it extends into the true understanding of this truth. It says, security of the one who trusts in the Lord. Psalms 91:1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High. What is the secret place of the Most High? The proper understanding of this knowledge. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all I get, and get what? Get understanding. And knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty, meaning under the protection. They will be sealed. They will be protected. They will be thawad. That Hebrew word in the book of Ezekiel 94, which will have that exemption from judgment placed upon them. That no matter what happens, they won't get touched. Even during the World War II, I believe that, or was it World War One? No, I think it was World War One. I believe that's, World War One. In Revelation, the 9th chapter, where it speaks about, that they were not killed or something like that. Pretty much you had certain individuals that had to survive. So no matter what situation they were in, no matter how dangerous it was, no matter if they was in the worst part of the battle, no matter if everyone around them died, they would have not been touched. They would have not died. I mean, they might have been wounded, maybe injured, and maybe even not. Because those soldiers were the fathers, actually the fathers of the fathers of the fathers of the men that would be out here teaching today. So grandfathers and great grandfathers, and whatever war they fought in, they survived because they had to bring forth the prophets through that line. That's the line the Lord chose. For whatever reason the Lord chose it. That's the Lord's choosing. All right. It says, I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power. In him will I trust. See? Because this is going to be what's going to seal the elect to be protected. So the word phrazo, which is a root word to the word sfragis, right? It means to fence in, block up, stop up, close up. So as a fence, and it goes into the word frene, or frame, which is what? Which is the root word to those words, and it goes into the midriff or diaphragm, the parts of the heart, which means what? The mind, the faculty of perceiving and judging, which is what? Understanding, as it says here. So this understanding of this knowledge, of this truth, is what's going to seal the elect of the Lord to be delivered in that time and not be touched by the things that are coming. You see? And this is a different M-A-R-K than the M-A-R-K of the beast, which is a physical mark. This is a spiritual mark. And it takes us back to sfrazzo, which we read earlier, to fence in, block up, stop up, close up. So these men are going to be protected, the ones that have the seal. This is why Ezekiel 94 says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry, for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So we're going to look up the word M-A-R-K, but what I want to say is, this has been said in the past, many years ago, and every once in a while it's repeated. Say it about these wacky-tacky Christians, say it about certain Israelites, that there's times when you read the scriptures and the scriptures are speaking about something spiritual. Sometimes you read the scriptures and they're speaking about something physical. These individuals that know that they're Israelites, forget about the wacky-tacky Christians, but the ones that know that they're Israelites, they've forgotten how to discern between something spiritual and something physical. You see? Because there's some sort of disconnect there. Now, whether the Lord will bring them all the way fully in or leave them out to dry, it remains to be seen. Because one cold, hard fact of the scriptures is that you're going to have individuals that are actually out there on the streets teaching in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that are going to going to call on Lord, Lord, did we not preach in your name and cast out devils? And the Lord said, depart from me, ye workers of iniquity. I never knew thee. That's a cold, hard fact, but it's true. And this is a part of the fear of the Lord. All right? So some of them individuals out there have forgotten to discern between the spiritual and the physical when it comes to the scriptures. Whether they took the bag, whether they're sincere or not, and one thing you're going to find out, as the Spirit has me say from time to time, is when the time comes, there's not going to be any in between, because we personally, like certain individuals out there, but if the Lord don't like them, guess what? There's going to be a separation, and there's not going to be any, well, that brother, he's kind of cool. It's not going to be any of that. It's going to be either you in or you out. That's it. I remember years ago, on Wall Street, I wasn't there. I watched the videos, or actually the VHS tape, for those of you that may remember that. Elder Pastor was speaking. He had a turban on. He was speaking down in Wall Street. And he said, when the time comes, I'm only for the righteous. And I never forgot that. That was like it may seem as something simple, but when he said that, it like struck me like wow, like man, that's heavy. And that's the truth. And that's how the Lord is separating it. Just like the Lord told Moses, look, you know, when he went out and Jake was wilding out, I believe that was during the time of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. He said, those who are on the Lord's side, come over here, and those who are not, stay over there. And he told the Levites to gird up their sword on their side, you know. So when the time comes, there's going to be a very thin line of separation between the righteous and the wicked. You know, and the Lord is going to deliver the righteous. He's not going to deliver the wicked. Whoever is on the bad side, you know, I don't care how cool they are or how sincere they are. You know, it's all a matter of who are the elect and who are not. You know, and that's a very scary thing, but it's scriptural. You know, that's a part of the, bitterness of this, one of the parts of the bitterness of the scripture, knowing that. All right. So this word M-A-R-K right here is the word Thawa. The word Thawa is a desire mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. You know? So this word here in the Hebrew is synonymous with the Greek word in the New Testament for the word seal. All right? They're two different English words, but they have the same connotation. All right? Exemption from judgment. The exemptions included such things as, betting for exemption from judgment meaning. Let's see if it'll come up. If not, let's see if this comes up. Correction based on clerical mistakes. Nope, that's not it. All right, so it's talking about relief. I didn't put I put exemption from judgment, but I guess they changed it. Google does that from time to time. You know, them big wart-nosed devils. The law protects certain types of income. Okay. Okay, so let's just put exemption meaning. Exemption meaning, right? The process of freeing or state of being free from an obligation or liability imposed on others. The process of exempting a person from paying taxes or on a specified amount of income for themselves and their dependents. Okay, so the process of freeing or state of being free from an obligation or liability imposed on others. And what's this exemption from? Judgment. So being freed from judgment. Judgment meaning the ability to make considered decisions or come to a sensible conclusion. A misfortune or calamity viewed as a divine punishment. So the elect that have the Thawar, the exemption from judgment, are those that are freed from an obligation or liability imposed on others. What is that obligation that's imposed on others? Judgment. The ability to make considered a misfortune or calamity viewed as a divine punishment. So that's what this word Thawar means. So this M-A-R-K is definitely a spiritual thing, which is the seal of the Lord. But when you get to the book of Revelation, that word there, the charagma, means something physical. And we've gone over it over and over and over and over and over again. All right? When you go to the 18th verse, here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And this 666 breaks down into 3 Greek letters. Those 3 Greek letters is chi, psi, stigma. When you click on it, it doesn't really give you much. It doesn't really give you much. It just tells you what it means. It doesn't break down the 3 letters. Right? Let me just check something else out real quick. Oops. Let's see what that. Oh, that's the. Spare with me 1 second. Okay, so these are just going into different numbers. Okay. Now let's go to. Let's see what this says. It only comes up that time. Okay, so that word there, kaisai stigma, when you go to Galatians 6 and 17, from henceforth let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Yahushai. Right? Now the Lord Yahushua, you can go to St. John either 20 or 21. He was actually crucified. He actually had, the nails put through his hands, through his feet. He actually was pierced on his side by a spear. Blood and water came out, which was a representation of the word, and how he would cleanse us by the washing of the word in these times, through faith, through grace, not through the keeping of the law perfectly, even though we do try to keep the law to the best of our ability, even though we mess up, as a show of veneration, a show of, fear and, and veneration to the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. When we look up this word, M-A-R-K-S, right, you have a word called stigmata or stigma. And that means from a primary stizo, to stick, an example, prick. When you go down to the definition of it, it says a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. Pricked in. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name of the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut into their bodies to indicate that, what master or general they belong to. So pretty much anyone that takes that M-A-R-K, the charagma, the C-hip, the micro C-hip, that means that device is the token of who you belong to. You no longer belong to the Most High. You belong to Esau, because that's who's in power right now, and that's who's pushing that. All right? So it says, and there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. Right? So this is something to cut into. So when you read this here, this 666 is something that's going to be put into someone. And it's not talking about, okay, they're going to carve 666 on you. No, it's all a part of that whole system. You have something called the UPC code, which was created by George Laurer. He used to work for IBM. He came up with a patent, called the UPC. He got it from another individual, or used some of the other individual's techniques, and that UPC code has different letters, different lines going through it to identify certain products, whether it's baby powder, whether it's soap, whether it's toothpaste, whether it's a toothbrush, whether it's a pen or some type of stationery or a suitcase or a wallet or whatever they get, pants, shirts, socks, drawers, candy, whatever. Each one of those UPC codes has a unique set of bars through it to identify each individual merchandise or thing in that store. Well, that's what they're doing in the setup for this whole system. Now, when you look at the UPC code, those different letters, lines, some are thick, some are thin. Sometimes they have two lines. It all depends on the number. When you look at the beginning, middle, and the end of it, you have two thin lines going all the way straight through. When you look through, you see 0, you see 1, you see 3, you see 10. You see 9, and then you see 6. Whenever you see 6, 6 is two thin lines next to each other. So when you see those two thin lines, that's in the beginning, middle, and the end, that's 666. That's all a part of this man's system, and it's all a part of tracking people. And they're using that same device of tracking to also have information on it based off of the breakdown of the word charagma and the different root words to it. All right? So this is showing you that they're going to put it into people to tag them as, the water apostle, the UPC, to tag them as slaves, as servants. And the word in the Greek to be the MARK word in the Greek, in the New Testament, is synonymous with the Hebrew word in the Hebrew, or the Hebrew word in Leviticus 19 and 28, where it says, "You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord, Yahweh," right? Because the Most High said, look, don't be putting no prints on you. Don't be making no marks on you, because you belong to me. This is what the Lord is saying. You're my servant. I created you. I made you. I set you up. I clothed you. I fed you. I gave you laws, statutes, and commandments to make you separate from these nations. Don't be bound down to them and making, covenants with them. Don't get involved into what they're getting involved in, because when you do that, you go left. You see? So the word marks here is the word kwai, right? And the word kwai is incision, imprintment, tattoo, mark. So an incision, what is an incision? An incision is a cutting into. Incision, a surgical cut made in skin or flesh. Bottom line. Okay? So this word here, kwai, in the Hebrew, in Leviticus 19:27, is synonymous with the Greek word charagma in the New Testament, in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, and the 16th verse, and the 17th verse, and many other verses in the book of Revelation, which also is a word that is used only one time outside of the book of Revelation, in the book of Acts. Let's see, this is the Universal Product, Apostle Tar. The Universal Product Code is a barcode symbology that is widely used worldwide for tracking trade items in stores. Correct, that's right. UPC consists of 12 digits that are uniquely assigned to each trade item, right? And when you look at the UPC code, when you actually look at it, boom, beautiful, perfect. You have lines, different lines. You see all the lines? Thick lines, skinny lines. Some numbers are just one thick line. Some numbers are two separate lines. Some lines are thicker, some lines are thinner. Some numbers just have a thin line. And not between love and hate. All right, let me see something. So now check this out. So you have 2, 0, 3, 5, 7, 1. You have mostly all the numbers here. But look at the 6 right here. 2 thin lines. When you look at the beginning, 2 thin lines. You look in the center, 2 thin lines. You look at the end, 2 thin lines. What's that? 6, 6, 6. It's all set up that way. It's all a part of this system. Okay? So this word kwai in the Old Testament is the same as the mark in the book of Revelation 13 for the word for the Greek word charagma. The word in Ezekiel chapter 9, which is the word thawah for the English word mark, is synonymous with the word seal in the New Testament's phragizo, or you could use the word elect, eklektos. You could use the word elect or seal, because those are the only ones that will be protected in this time. And I'll leave you with the book of 2 Ezra 16. 2 Ezra 16. And I'll just go straight to the point. I'll start at 72. For they shall waste and take away their goods. This is talking about during the time of martial law, when everything is broken down, society collapses, these devils do what they got to do. And remember, now it's even more and more clear that they plan, because we've been saying that there's going to be some type of event, that's going to happen where they're going to cause all type of chaos to happen to justify bringing in this mark. But now we're finding out that, I believe it was Klaus Schwab that said this is going to be, how did he say it? It's going to be something crisis or polycrisis, many crises, because that's what they want. They want crisis and chaos. This is why they had all of these lockdowns and different things going on, because they want people to go crazy to justify them bringing in the military to shut everything down. You see? So it says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen. See, then shall they be known who are my chosen. Why? Because something gonna happen to where the chosen are not being touched by the things that the world is being touched by. These judgments that are coming upon the world. Why? Because they're sealed with the seal or the M-A-R-K of the Most High, which is spiritual. The seal or the M-A-R-K of Esau is physical, because they are carnal, not spiritual. And they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Right, so they shall be known who are my chosen, because the chosen will eat. The rest will not. Let's go real quick to Isaiah 65. Isaiah 65, and let's start at 11. But ye are they that forsake the Lord, right? These are individuals out there that are forsaking the Lord, that are not, doing the work of the Lord, that are slacking, that took their hand off the plow, or whatever the case may be, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, right? And you individuals that know you're Israelites, and you're not warning the people about this major prophecy unfolding before your eyes about the MOTB being the CHIP, you're preparing a table for that troop. Who is the troop? Esau. You're preparing that table. You setting everything up. You causing Jake to come to the table of the devil. Yahushua said you cannot eat of the table of the Most High and the table of devils. And that furnished the drink offering unto that number. Now drink offering is going to be destruction. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and you will be numbered to the sword, lest you repent. And you shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because you ain't going to be able, look, this is going to be a worldwide event. You got guys talking about flee doctrine and get the hell out of America. It's going to be a worldwide event. You're not going to be able to leave anywhere. Wherever you go, it's going to be the same shit. So you're going to what? Bow down to the slaughter. When you bow down to something, that means you done gave up. Because there's nothing that you found out that there's nothing you could do. There's nowhere to turn, nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide, baby. Inside joke. Because when I called, and how the Lord is calling now, and he's been calling, but now he's urgently calling. It's like when you go to a club, right? I mean, I'm just using a physical thing. Last call for alcohol. This is the last call of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to you individuals out there, before the whole shithole goes down. Because when I called, you did not answer, but when I spake, you did not hear. Right. So the Lord said you didn't answer when he called. You didn't answer the call. You didn't pick up the phone when he called. Let me see, the brother put the WF motto 2023, cooperation in a fragmented world. Right. Because it's a fragmented world. Why? Because they made it fragmented. When I called, you did not answer. Yeah, you didn't pick up the call. It says, when I spake, you did not hear. Right. The Lord is speaking loud and clear through his prophets, but you ain't listening. It says, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Right. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servants shall eat, but you shall be hungry. So there's going to be something going on to where people are going to, they're going to be like, yo, what's going on over there, man? Them individuals, they ain't getting touched by it. What's happening, man? What's happening, man? I want to get down with that. And that's when it's going to be cool, Psalms 37 and 13. The Lord, I'm sorry, that's not it. Let me try this one. Job 5:22. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. So what type of spirit is the Lord going to have on the elect, that when you see destruction and famine, you'll be able to laugh? What kind of spirit do you think the Lord is going to give us? in that day, to be able to laugh at famine and destruction. Because it's going to be the cold. See, the Lord can put a cold spirit on us at any time. But right now, he just, he got it to where we're just pretty much barely making it, so that we can put our whole hope in him, in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. But in that day, the Lord's going to turn it up. He's going to turn that spirit up. He's going to turn it all the way up. And then it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. It says, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. Right. So going back, it says, Isaiah 65:13, therefore thus saith the Lord. Matter of fact, there's one in Psalms. I think it's 37. Let me see. Let me try Psalms 37. And 19, yep, Psalms 37:19. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time. They shall not be what? Ashamed in the evil time. Because during the time of Jacob's trouble, Jacob is going to be ashamed. Because they're going to be out there they're going to be up Shit's Creek without a paddle, as they say. And in the days of famine, they shall be satisfied. Once again, Isaiah 65:13. Therefore thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servants shall eat. Why? Because the servants of the Lord, the elect, will trust in the Lord. While everybody else is selling out to this man, taking the bags, getting hit, getting V'd, the elect of the Lord are trusting in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai for that protection hedge, that invisible force field that the world cannot receive, because it can't receive the word of the Lord. As we read about one of the words for seal, it took us all the way back to the word, I think it was phane, which means to have understanding, which is where the seat of the Lord's Holy Spirit, where the truth of where this truth abides, this understanding of this truth. It says, my servant shall eat, but you shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. Behold, behold. It keeps on saying, behold. Why? Because those that are going to be hungry and thirsty and ashamed and sorrowful and vexed in the spirit are going to see the prophets of the Lord, the elect of the Lord, being protected and them not. And that's going to bring extreme shame unto them. It's going to get heavy out here, man. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but you shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. All right? And that's what's going to go down. I'm going to leave it with this here the brother put up. GMS Spiritual Temple 2. By the way, you brothers did a beautiful job on that through the spirit and power Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Rakakudash on that lesson y'all did yesterday, I believe it was. 1 Corinthians 11:31-32. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, meaning we're chastened, we go through tribulations, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world, because the world is already condemned. So with that, that seal, what is it? It's the spiritual seal of the Most High placed upon the elect to protect them from the perils that are coming and the destruction. So with that, I pray that you brothers and sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say, Shalom.